Did we fight well?
As well as could be expected.
It was never our forte. Golden roses, indeed.
Olenna Tyrell says that with a cup of poison already on the table. The army is gone. Highgarden fell in a single morning. The woman who outlasted 4 kings opens the conversation by complimenting the soldier sent to end her line. What sits beneath that compliment? That is the instrument. Over the next few minutes, Olenna does something no character in Game of Thrones does quite like she does. She weaponizes honesty, completely, surgically, with nothing left to protect. To calculate the atmospheric pressure of this chamber in Highgarden, we must understand what each person needs from this interaction before a single word is spoken. Jaime arrives as the victor. House Lannister has just outmaneuvered Daenerys on the field. He needs this meeting to feel like a clean ending. He bargained with Cersei to spare Olenna a brutal public death, and he needs her to take the poison quietly. He needs her to accept defeat. Olenna arrives with nothing left to protect. Her house is gone. Her granddaughter is in the ground. She holds no army, no title, no functioning alliance. What she carries into this room is a piece of information Jaime does not yet know exists, and the certainty that nothing she says here can be used against her after the cup is emptied. The poison ends her body. Her ability to speak ends only when she chooses to stop.
How will you do it? With that sword? That was Joffrey's sword, wasn't it? Not that he ever used it. What did he call it?
Widow's wail.
He really was a cunt, wasn't he?
Jaime asks how she will die. Olenna asks about the sword. The pivot is reconnaissance, not deflection. She watches how Jaime reacts the moment Joffrey's name enters the room. Does his jaw tighten? Does his posture shift? Does the name still carry heat for him? She needs that read before she can calibrate what comes next. The insult she delivers is a probe. It maps the distance between Jaime and the boy he fathered and watched die in public. The answer determines her timing. Social calibration. The real-time process of reading another person's emotional state in order to sequence disclosures, provocations, or concessions for maximum effect. Olenna performs this in a death chamber with a poisoned cup in front of her and no exit available. The sword question is not a distraction from dying. It is the diagnostic that tells her whether Jaime can receive what she is about to say, or whether the wound around Joffrey is still too raw for the information to land where she intends it.
I did unspeakable things to protect my family, or watch them being done on my orders. I never lost a night's sleep over them. They were necessary, and whatever I imagined necessary for the safety of House Tyrell, I did.
Olenna asked nothing. She gave Jaime an opening, a slight, a provocation, an unfinished sentence about his dead son, and he walked directly into the space and filled it with self-disclosure. He is justifying himself to a woman he came to execute. The wound underneath that move is familiar. Jaime Lannister has spent years trying to explain himself to people who have already decided what he is. He does not need Olenna's forgiveness. He needs recognition from someone who has also ordered the necessary thing without flinching and slept soundly after. He is looking for a witness. Olenna listens. She offers nothing back.
You love her. You really do love her. You poor fool. She'll be the end of you.
Possibly.
One word. Jaime says, possibly, and packed inside it is the entire shape of his arc. He already knows. Olenna makes no argument, applies no pressure, asks no follow-up. She delivers the observation with the flat calm of someone reading the weather, then waits. The calm itself is doing damage. By refusing to press the point, she demonstrates something Cersei never does. She can see Jaime clearly and has no use for the sight. That kind of disinterested clarity, offered without agenda, with no move behind it, is among the most destabilizing things one person can produce in another. Controlled revelation, the deliberate sequencing of true disclosures, timed not to inform, but to destabilize the listener at the moment when each prior revelation has already cracked them open. Olenna entered this room holding every piece of information she will eventually release. She sequenced the releases by what each prior disclosure cracked open in Jaime. The confession came after he revealed his wound. The observation about Cersei came after he confessed. Each truth lands at the exact moment his guard has already shifted from the one before it. A fabrication can be rehearsed in advance. This kind of sequencing requires reading the room in real time and adjusting based on what just opened.
What better person to discuss it with? What better guarantee could you have that the things you say will never leave this room?
She constructs the room as a consequence-free space. Whatever Jaime says here dies with her. Olenna frames this as a gift, a rare clearing in a world where every word carries political weight. The gift is also architecture. By establishing that nothing can leave the room, she lowers his guard further, invites him to speak more freely, and extracts more data before she deploys the final disclosure. She engineers the conditions for his maximum exposure at the moment of her minimum vulnerability. He has, at this point, handed her more than he realizes.
Will there be pain?
No, I made sure of that.
That's good.
She drinks without hesitation. No tremor, no pause. Jaime delivered the poison as an act of mercy. Olenna receives it as a logistical update. No pain, acceptable, and moves to the next item. The mercy lands on nothing. There is no gratitude visible, no relief, no softening. She processes the information and continues. Watching someone absorb their own death with this kind of composure removes the emotional architecture the executioner's role depends on. Jaime arrived expecting to feel like the merciful victor. He exits feeling like a courier.
I'd hate to die like your son, clawing at my neck, foam and bile spilling from my mouth, eyes blood red, skin purple. Must have been horrible for you, as a king's guard, as a father.
Olenna carried this confession through the Purple Wedding, through the investigation, through Tyrion's entire trial, through Cersei's grief performed across a season of public mourning. She waited years, inside the fiction, for the correct delivery vehicle. Jaime is not the audience for this confession. Cersei is. Every available person Olenna could have told, she passed over, because none of them could carry it to the one woman for whom the information would be most corrosive. The confession has no interest in absolution. It is a targeted delivery engineered to arrive inside a specific mind after the speaker is gone and beyond reach. Posthumous leverage. The deployment of a revelation timed to take effect only after the speaker's death. Designed to inflict damage that cannot be traced back to a living actor or answered by any living target. Cersei cannot retaliate. Olenna is already dead. The information that Joffrey was killed not by his family's enemies, but by his most trusted ally. That knowledge now lives in Jaime's mind permanently, unsolicited, impossible to unfeel. Olenna did not need to be alive to watch it work. She knew the room it would land in and what it would find there. But here is what the show never told you in George R.R. Martin's source material. The poisoning of Joffrey is engineered through the hairnet worn by Sansa Stark at the wedding. Each stone in the net is a strangler crystal, colorless, odorless, dissolving in wine. Olenna lifts one of those stones from Sansa's hair during the feast, slips it into Joffrey's cup, and does it in plain sight at a crowded table, because no one watches an old woman touch a young girl's jewelry at a wedding. The show simplifies this. The books do not. Littlefinger arranges the poison's arrival through Dantos Hollard, but Olenna is the one who places it. What this adds to the confession scene is significant. Olenna had been operating for years under the cover of Sansa's innocence. The girl most likely to be suspected carried the weapon without knowing she was carrying it. The candor in front of Jaime is not a break from that system. It is the final layer of it, deployed at the one moment when no layer of cover is needed anymore, because she is already drinking the cup. The mechanism Olenna uses is available in any organization. When a person has absorbed the worst possible outcome, the termination, the diagnosis, the irreversible loss, their willingness to speak the unfiltered truth becomes a form of power no one around them can match. The most dangerous feedback in any system comes from someone who has just been told they are being let go. Executives hire outside consultants because employees with careers to protect cannot say what the departing employee says freely on their final afternoon. Olenna's final conversation is a severance interview with a poisoned cup on the table. She releases everything she spent years holding back, not from emotion, but from calculation. She has confirmed that nothing she says here can follow her out the door. Radical honesty, timed to the moment of zero consequence, does not inform the listener. It marks them. Olenna confesses to the murder of a king with poison already in her bloodstream and describes watching him die as a shocking scene. The question worth sitting with is not whether she was brave. The question is whether Jaime was ever able to separate the damage she planted in that room from the choices he believed were his own in the years that followed.